Okay, so this is the back of the mock-up. This is the front. So what I need you to do is just pin it along the back, okay? You can see, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but you can see when you get it, there's a stitch line all the way down the back, okay? So what I want you to do is just pin it along that stitch line, okay? And then let's see, I'm just gonna turn it around here real quick. My camera might get a little wiggly here. But anyhow, so here's the front, okay? If you feel like you want, if it's comfortable, great. If not, if you feel like you want to take it in a little bit in some of these spots, I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to put the camera down really, really quick so you can kind of see. Let me grab my pins and some chalk. I'm going to send some chalk right here. There we go. Okay, that's a little piece of chalk I'm going to be sending off and some pins, okay? Okay, so basically, for instance, like with my mannequin, it might be different with you, but with her, I feel like she would need to have a little bit taken in just in the waist area. I'm not so much concerned about this part in the hip area because you got to remember Mother Gothel's dress is, very flowy and just not super, super tight in the hips. It is fitted, but not super, super tight. But we do want to get a nice fit here in the waistline. Okay, so this is the waist. Let me just make sure that you can see that. Okay, this is the waist. So I'm just kind of just pinning it along. What this is, these are the princess seams. Okay. Just pinning it along the princess seam here, okay? Just to kind of get rid of that excess going on here. And just a little bit here in the bust, needs to be pinned. Again, this might not apply for you. You might feel comfortable with it, but for my mannequin, this is, it would need to be taken in just a little bit on this, in this area. Okay. And then just a little bit here at an angle. I'm going to kind of take the camera and show you kind of a close-up. Okay. So I want to have this angle here so it goes into the line. If you have trouble kind of understanding the pinning process, it's fine. Just pin the waist and pin obviously the bust area. Anything that you feel is like just too big, or if you feel the front's fine and you feel like something's loose on the side, I would try to stay away from pinning too much here because you do want to have some movement here for the underarm. But if you feel like you need to take a little bit in at the waist, do that. But send me pictures, okay, before you send it back. I mean, obviously leave the pins in. And then another thing, too, is what I like to do when I make my adjustments is even after I pin, I'll mark it with this chalk. It's Taylor's chalk. Along this line, okay, and it rubs right off, so it doesn't stay on the garment. It rubs right off. But at least if, like, let's say you ship it back and the pins fall off or something, at least I know where you marked it and I know how much needs to be taken in. The other thing too is, let's say front and sides, everything fits great. You might have to take it in the back. I know for me, I kind of have like a bit of an arch in my back. And so a lot of times with my bodices and corsets and whatnot, I always have to take in a little bit here in this waist part, okay, throughout just this back area, or you could do it here too in the center. But again, it's going to be a little bit harder here, so, because we can't leave the pins in. But if you feel like, something needs to be taken in here, take it in here, pin it. and then see if you can get some help, and you know, have somebody mark it with a little piece of chalk, and then, you know, and then go from there. But just make sure you take pictures, because I want to see where it is that it's lying loose, or if it's too tight somewhere. I have to see it. So send me pictures. Sometimes with my circumstances, because I'm a little bustier, so I'll have issues a lot of times in this area, and I'll have to let out sometimes this area and put a little bit more room in the sleeve. So my patterns are kind of a little funky because of my body and like my bust and ratio versus my waist. So, you know, if that's a situation for you, same thing. So, you know, if you've got to take in a little bit here, then, you know, pin it. And then I'll make my adjustments on the pattern. If you feel like, let's say this neckline is a little too loose, same thing, pinch it and just put a little pin there, mark it, and that'll tell me, you know, that I got to make adjustments to this neckline, you know, that it's going to be too loose, and we don't want it too loose. We want it nice and fitted in the neckline. And then let me I'm going to put the camera back, just kind of show you, sometimes with certain, you know, body types, we get, you know, where if you take up the shoulder a little bit right here, let me just kind of zoom back. Sometimes you'll get a little bit better of a fit in all this area if you just pull it up at the shoulders. Okay, I'm just going to put the camera back real quick and pin it so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, let's see here. And a lot of times you may not have to pin the whole thing. It might just need to be pinned. In most cases, it just needs to be pinned where our neckline is at, okay? And not necessarily where the sleeve and the shoulder meet. Because, again, you don't really want to mess a whole lot with the sleeve, because you don't want a super tight sleeve. Even though Mother Gothel's sleeve, it does have a fitted look to it, you don't want it to be super tight, because this fabric is not stretch fabric. It's a brocade, so it doesn't have a whole lot of give. And not this fabric, but the overall burgundy fabric is a brocade. And so you don't have a whole lot of give, so you want to have a little bit of room in the sleeves, okay? You don't. So anyhow, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to take the camera back so you can kind of see what it was that I did. So I just kind of pinned it here, okay? So, okay. And as you see, I did not touch this part, okay? So what I'll do is I'll come back with the pattern and basically cut this part out, okay? So you get a nice fitted look around the neckline, and sometimes that solves a lot of the issues here if it's too big in this area. So, you know, kind of play with it. When you do get it, see if pinning it up here solves an issue, or again, this whole thing might fit you right. Well, you know, we'll see. But anyhow, that's why the purpose of a mock-up is always send it out, pin it, and then we go from there, you know. And if I feel like I have to send you another mock-up out, that's always a possibility. But usually it only takes one. But there's my pinning to my mannequin, and that's kind of like what she would need because of this mannequin size. But, you know, when you get it, you know, you can kind of let me know where any adjustments need to be made, okay? Thank you, and we'll speak soon.